here backstage at the Eastern Lounge, and unfortunately that hasn't been named after me. This is EASTERN, and it's very exciting. We're doing a First Ladies of Soul show, and tonight I'm going to interview bass player Victor Rounds, who's one of the most highly sought after bass players in the country, probably, definitely in Sydney. It's a tiny little backstage area, so I'm going to have to find another spot to interview him, I think, but I'm sure we'll find something exciting. You can hear the sound checks already happening. That's Kimmy on the drums. Woohoo!
Till you come back to me, that's all I'm gonna do. One more time. Till you come back to me, that's all I'm gonna do. Oh,
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining me.
My friend.
Not that you had a choice for joining me because we're working together tonight anyway.
Oh,
I just managed to grab you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, while you were
thanks
here.
for this little opportunity.
Oh, I appreciate it. So let me see. Why don't we start with what you're working on at the moment, musically?
Musically, I've actually got my finger in the pie on a lot of things.
I know you would.
So it's really hard to.
You can just give me like the top three or something, because there's probably too many.
Well, besides teaching, I've just finished a stint with Ray Beadle down at the Thredbo Blues
I
Festival.
saw some of the footage. It looked amazing.
Yeah, it was. It was a fantastic weekend. I did that working on my house in Fiji, building a house.
I know.
building a
How
house.
exciting is that?
It is. It's.
You're not
it's
going to leave us
nerve-wracking.
though forever.
I hope not. No, it's not. It's just building a house like everyone builds another house to go to, so to
Oh,
speak.
yeah, nice. In Fiji
Only
though.
in Fiji. And I don't know. I guess the third one is just doing bits and pieces around Sydney, which
Freelance,
I'm sure
like the rest of us.
freelance, and
Yeah.
we're enjoying it.
Yeah.
You know, we all do that. We all enjoy it, don't we?
Yes, we love it. What is your most regular, even though it's probably still freelance? gig?
Yeah, it's well, my regular, which regular,
Ish.
irregular, is the live karaoke band down at the boat shed on Thursdays. Yeah.
People actually get up and sing with you guys.
Absolutely. It's
What
the
is
best
that
thing.
like?
It is the best thing.
Fun.
It's never been heard of overseas, because we even have visitors who come in, like say from New York or
Yeah.
LA or even London town, Europe, and they say, we've never seen anything like this before. This is such a great, fun thing. And you get up and you sing in front of your own band, which is what it is.
And how many people want to do that aren't professional singers? That they
yes,
might have done the back
exactly.
and tape thing. It's nowhere near the same.
Exactly. So we start at 9 o'clock in the evenings, and at 9 it's quite empty.
Yeah.
But all the serious wannabes,
Yeah.
they come along, and so they test their song out, they test their metal on us.
Yeah, it's
And,
great.
and we provide, we do the best we can. We sing harmonies.
Yeah.
We play properly.
Heaven.
And
So then they go, oh yeah, I play with Victor Rounds.
I don't
They put
think
it on their resume.
Yeah, imagine that. No, but that's. I look forward to that on Thursdays. It's actually not my gig; it's Dario's gig.
Yeah.
But he's so busy making
He's
money.
doing baby animals, isn't he?
He's doing baby animals, but right now he's just doing what we do, just casual
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
He's got a better gig somewhere else
Yeah.
on a Thursday night.
Wow,
But
that's
I'm
pretty
happy.
good.
Yeah, no, it's great. So it's a trio.
Yeah.
Brad Johns, myself, and Kimmy.
Mm-hmm.
And great lineup, because we all sing, and we sing
Exactly.
Billys and all that.
And can people just choose songs out of the air, or do you have a list?
We have a list. We have a list of about 100 or 200
Yeah.
songs, and we know most of them.
Yeah.
But it's a challenge to do songs outside of the list, and
Yeah.
people come up and mention a name, and if we don't know it, or one of us knows it, we'll give it a go.
How
Or we'll
fantastic.
jump online and get
Have a
called.
quick check.
Yeah, and then just do it. So
That's
fun.
amazing.
It
I would have come
really
along. I
is.
didn't even know you did that.
if you want to have a sing, come early.
Yeah,
because
'cause it gets so
around about
popular.
11:30, the riff-raff come in, and they're
Yeah.
all drunk and pissed and
April's on in Cuba.
all the time.
Yeah.
So every time there's a, there's about 5 or 6 Aussie classic songs.
Yeah.
And whenever that happens, including horses.
Oh.
But before that happens, I always make an announcement, and the announcement is this. Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for Australia's national anthem. So I may start the riff like that, or we do akadaka or anything. I always make the announcement because everybody knows. Oh, what is it going to be?
There's a few national anthems happening.
Stuff like that. So yeah, it's good fun.
You love it, don't you?
I think it's great.
I mean, music. What do you love most about doing music?
Playing with people that have got the same enthusiasm as me, and we do it for fun. It's not serious, and yet people listening.
You do serious gigs though.
I do serious gigs, but I just get a kick out of chemistry happening on stage at that moment, anytime. It could be with anybody. It doesn't have to be the best musicians in the world. They could be the worst or whatever, or who've got 2 left feet or whatever.
Yeah.
It's all about if it's happening, it's happening, and that's, I don't know, maybe you get to that stage in your life where you've travelled, you've done the journey, and in the end it's like, I think I've just about...
You've ticked a lot of boxes.
Yes, and you've done just enough, and it's like, what else can really make me happy? And I think, just meeting people, strangers, and playing music with them.
Yeah.
If you don't connect, doesn't really matter, it's not, no one's perfect.
Yeah, that's fantastic. But it was interesting when I was looking up your bio online, because I thought I knew a fair bit about you, but obviously I don't know everything. And it's really interesting, all the people that I've interviewed so far on this vlog, you've pretty much worked with all of them in a lot of the same projects. So there's the Jenny Morris connections, a lot of the same people, Living Daylights, and but it's amazing how many, and I only interview good musicians, so it's obviously there is even though I didn't necessarily knew that you worked with all of these people, it's all this circle, and you've all done such amazing things. And I even interviewed Denise DeMarchi recently, and I noticed the Living Daylights was the band that she was in the 90s was on one of your credits as well.
Yes, I played on her album.
So it's just all this, it's like that, have you seen that Hollywood thing with Kevin Bacon? There's something like 6 degrees of separation between Kevin Bacon and everybody in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. Maybe that should be the Victor Rounds thing in the music scene.
Well, if you want to compare it like that.
You've always wanted to be compared to Kevin Bacon, haven't you?
Okay. No, that's good. Yeah.
So you've toured and recorded here and overseas with some amazing Australian legends, like people like Renee Gale. Jenny Morris, who I mentioned earlier, Tommy Emmanuel, Tina Arena, who I'm a big fan of, and so many more. But when I was looking through your list, I was a little bit surprised to see Rick Astley and the Monkees.
Absolutely. I was a monkey at one stage.
You were actually a monkey?
We were a monkey. It was Peter Northcote, myself, a few other players. It was great.
When you say the Monkees, I mean, that was like a manufactured band, as far as I know, that was kind of meant to be the new Beatles.
It was the 3 original Monkees that came out, without, who was the...
Davy Jones?
Davy was in the band, Peter Tork, and
I know Davy Jones was the heartthrob, that's why I remember his name.
Yeah, he was there, he was great fun. Davy Jones, Peter Tork, who's the drummer? The mad guy. Anyway, it was the other guy who, Mike Nesbitt.
Oh, yeah.
That song, When I Go to Rio.
Yes,
he didn't come, but so there was a show put on, they organised an Aussie tour for them, and this is back in the 80s.
Right.
And they were still like at their prime. So they came out and, we just did their show all over Australia. It was,
how fantastic.
It was good fun.
I should be kissing her. Why am I missing her? I should be kissing her.
Yeah, because I remember the cartoon on TV when I was little. Hey, it's the monkeys.
Exactly.
That's how I know the monkeys.
Oh, I see.
And I think I always thought they were just
Cartoon
yeah,
characters.
basically.
Yeah.
But I thought that about the Beatles too
Oh,
until
really?
I was
Oh,
told.
my
When
God.
I was very little,
my
but you know
God.
they had the Beatles that Hard Day's Night cartoon
Yes,
used to
that's
run
right.
forever in daytime
Was
TV.
that your first exposure to Beatles?
I know. I grew up in a family where. I know it's very embarrassing.
Everybody!
I don't tell everybody that, but I grew up in a family that loved opera and classical music,
Oh,
so
right,
that's
okay,
the
that
music
makes-
I grew
yeah,
up with.
yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense.
So when I
Makes sense.
discovered pop, it was the stuff on the radio and at school, and you know I was too young for the Beatles,
Yeah.
so that didn't come to quite a lot later.
Yeah, until it
And-
all sort of fell into place and it's
Yeah,
like, okay,
the
these characters
Beatles.
have come from real people.
Same with Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley
No,
was a
you're
movie
kidding.
star as far as I was
Oh, okay,
concerned.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
I'd seen the movies that they would play on Sunday morning.
Yeah,
And I thought, well, that I knew that he sang in the movies, but I thought he was a movie star. That was his thing.
yeah.
And
Oh,
so,
wow.
can you imagine the embarrassment on both counts when I kind of went, oh, I thought, to you
Hey.
know, musicians.
Oh, look, I'm sure we've all been embarrassed before. One time or
Yeah,
another.
oh, it happens to me all the time. And
No,
so, how
that's
about
good.
Rick Astley? Because Rick Astley has kind of come back as a meme, hasn't he?
He
Like,
has,
he pops
yeah.
up on the internet as a thing all the time, and he was just such a massive success in the 80s with
Rolling Ring. Yeah,
that one particular song,
Never
which
Gonna Give
was
You Up.
Never Gonna Give
Yeah.
You Up.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. Okay, I don't know. Whatever it is, it's not right on the teleprompter. I don't know what that is. I've never seen that. Okay, but yeah, I can't read it. There's no words on it. We'll do it live.
Because of the memes, do you reckon
Yes,
that that's
absolutely. The
reinvigorated his
Rolling
career?
Ring. Is it Rolling with Rick? And also, it would have. I think he was sort of slowly reigniting his career in England. He never actually left, if you know what I mean.
Right, yeah.
Because
We
if
just
you walk
stopped
into
hearing
any,
about it all the
if you
time.
turn on any pop radio in the UK, chances are you would hear "Never Going to Give You Up"
Fantastic.
within an
We
hour.
all want
you
that
know?
kind of song, don't we? Just
Well,
that one song that
Absolutely,
they play forever.
yeah. So so this what happened was the promoter put asked Paul Gray, Paul Gray, bless his soul, to put a band together. So it was just a 5-piece band. It was Paul Gray on keys with backing vocals,
Yeah.
and that's the other thing that make us sort of
In
economical.
demand. The
Yeah,
fact that you can
if you
sing,
can sing and,
but really
do
well.
DVs and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it was Paul Gray, Fab on drums,
Yeah.
over there.
He was my drummer in my original project for a while.
Was
Not
he?
Fab, yes.
Oh, he
years
was
ago.
great.
Yeah.
We just got it for the vibe. You know,
Yeah,
just
and you
said,
guys
what a
would
great
get on
feel.
so well.
You know.
Yeah.
John Bettison on
Yeah.
guitar and vocals.
Yeah. Another singer, musician, really makes a difference.
Another brilliant
Great
musician.
singer too. Yeah.
Absolutely. Myself and Nick Pingardi from Melbourne,
Yeah.
who supplied all the glorious sounds and all the.
Which would be fun for a piano
Ah.
player that's that way inclined.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So he was like the professor on synths
Yeah.
and keys and all that. And so we did that twice. He came out once and then again a couple of years later.
Yeah, nice.
Did that again, so which was nice. But I hear he's coming out again soon.
So no doubt you'll get to do it
He's-
again.
No, this time he's bringing his English band. with him.
Oh,
Oh, they sounded pretty disappointed that they couldn't come out.
yeah.
And I think Rick went back and told them what a marvellous band he picked up in Oz.
So
I mean, to
they've
come
really
back
picked
and do
up
two
their
in a
socks.
row, yeah.
Yeah.
But look, that's great that he's coming over, but he's not
Yeah.
coming over as the main act. He's supporting AHA. I think
They're coming back as well.
Yeah.
How cool. The 80s thing is just
Isn't it being
revival's
revived,
amazing.
isn't
Yeah.
So I mean, good luck to them. So
Yeah.
that's what's happening, and so we just carry on as like we normally.
And you go and
just
move
do
on to the
gigs.
next thing. But you've
Absolutely.
also done a lot of musical theatre. You've done Fame and Rent and Thriller, some of that overseas
Yes,
and in
yeah.
Australia. I've always, when I started out, I actually, I had a big corporate job and I decided I wanted to leave to do music. And the furthest I could kind of see ahead, because it was just such
Yeah.
a new thing to go into for me after the big corporate world, I imagined myself in musical theatre.
Okay.
And I actually started doing auditions in that area, but
Yeah.
can't really dance.
And was that one like a criteria?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was an absolute criteria.
Yeah.
Unless you were a star. If you were a
Yes.
name already, then they would just put you in one of the lead roles,
Yeah.
and the singing was more important.
You would have to,
Well, you'd have
yeah.
to dance a bit, but they would teach you enough to get you
Okay.
through. But basically when you're starting out in musical theatre and you're going to be in the chorus.
Yes. Yeah,
You
of course.
have to dance.
Oh.
And so I soon realised that wasn't for me. I did dance classes for years and I tried to, and I improved, but I'm just
Oh man, that's disappointing.
I know, right? But I mean, it's funny because I love what I do now. I
Yeah.
love the band scene, and that's
Yeah.
I'm quite a theatrical person, as you probably noticed.
Yes,
and I
yeah.
just, I guess I bring that to what I do.
Well, I
and,
think
you know,
what you do so well. That's why you do so many different shows.
yeah, I guess the cabaret side of things.
Different themes, like tribute things.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
fantastic.
it makes sense.
And the
from
thing
my
I noticed about
personality.
you actually throw yourself into that part, which is
Yes.
fantastic. You know?
Yeah.
A lot of artists don't do that.
Well, they're probably cool.
Well,
I'm
I know what you
not.
mean. No, I know what you're saying. You know, it's
Yeah.
like too cool for school.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, well, look, if you're going to do the show, I mean, do the show.
Oh, look,
You don't-
if you're going to do anything, you've got to commit to it, because
Absolutely.
otherwise it's more embarrassing to watch someone that's only half
Yeah.
there. You
Well,
know?
that's right, and especially if you're in a situation. If you're on your own, fantastic. But
Yeah.
if you're in a group situation, and you're the one that's standing out, you know, the others
good.
aren't going to look really, you know. And it's not all about pulling focus. It's all about you're doing your gig,
Yeah.
and the others are like tagging along.
Absolutely. But I've always, I've put that to the side, and I know I'm never going to be in musical theatre, and that's fine because I actually really do love what I do
Yeah.
now. But I've always wondered what it's like. So tell me,
Yeah.
how does it, especially because a lot of the music theatre people that I know only do that.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
they can't compare to what we do anyway. But you have got a foot pretty firmly. I mean, you probably do more the rock world
Yeah.
than musical theatre, but you've done a lot of it. So how does it compare?
It's well, the thing is, being a musician in a theatre, in the musical situation, is like it's still us and them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we don't get really involved because that's a
You
whole.
feel
different-
further away?
Not further away. We're just another group. We're just there to provide the basis of their sound while they do all that. Which personally, I think it's fascinating just watching them go through everything like that. And it was like, wow, this is hard work.
Yeah,
It
definitely.
really is hard work, and I mean, we just sit on our fat asses and play the show, and then stop and listen to dialogue, and
Yeah.
the next one's coming. But seeing them, it's just
They have to put everything into
I
it
just
because
they're in that the whole character. They're in
Yeah.
the character. Even off side of stage, it's another this. They get off stage and you go, hey, how's it going? You know, they're just like,
they have to stay. Yeah.
go on. So you don't do any of that stuff. It's when the show finishes and they've got another half an hour, 1 hour of like dressing down, wiping makeup off and all that, and then we go and meet them at the pub or something.
Yeah.
That's when you meet the real.
And you do mix. It's not as if
Absolutely,
it's an us and
no,
them
no, it's
thing
not.
then.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But I just have total respect for people in theatre.
Yeah.
Because it's just such an
It's a
art, a
hard
required
job.
art, you know.
Yeah, it's the actual job is difficult, but it's hard to stage theatre nowadays
Yeah.
successfully.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know the stars in theatre probably get paid well if you're a name, but I think the chorus or even the smaller parts that aren't well known, I don't
Yeah.
think it's usually well paid, is it? Not the
No.
musicians, but the
No,
the
you're
actors,
right.
singers. Yeah.
There's
They get a lot out of you for the
Yeah.
wage that you get.
No, you're right about that.
Yeah.
That's why I always wonder about community guilds or like societies and how they stage their own version of their shows. And
I did.
I'm sure they're doing it for nothing.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
I did that. I did amateur theatre because
Yeah.
my lack of dancing was okay in amateur theatre. But that's kind of what gave me the love for it because I
Okay.
grew up when I was a teenager
Yeah.
and even younger. You know, one of the very first music theatre things that I did, it was like pantomime. Right?
Yeah.
When I was really young, it was a pantomime that was actually written about me and another boy.
Yeah.
He was a fair bit older than me, but a boy that went to our youth group kind of thing that we went to. So,
Right.
and that boy is now the Prime Minister.
Is that amazing?
So that was Scott Morrison, and it was
Yeah.
written it was Scotty Amanda, who's my big brother.
Wow.
And this is why. How is that?
absolutely fascinating.
I know. But how can this person and his parents ran the local music society and were in all the shows. They were actor singers themselves,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
amateur.
Yeah.
And they were so entrenched in that community, and for years and years and years did these shows. Yet they go and cut the arts department in the government. I don't know how someone could grow up through that.
Yeah, maybe
And then-
his heart wasn't really into it. Maybe it
Maybe
was
it's
just
the
a passing
parents.
phase. Yeah, I think it was just keeping the parents happy or something.
Maybe.
I don't know.
It's a bit shocking, but we're not
Wow.
here to talk politics.
Well, no, but I'm just shocked
I know, it's a
about
bit of
that.
a
It's
shock,
like,
isn't it?
bloody hell. It's about as revealing as where I live at the moment. Joe and I live in our street.
Yeah.
Is renowned for having Johnny Howard, our former Prime Minister, who lived there
There
as
you
a
go.
young Liberal member for Cobra, I think it was.
Yeah,
or
right.
something, you know. And it probably explains why the street has retained its original form. It's like those old-fashioned wide
Yeah,
streets
yours got a
with
lovely
lots of
history.
trees,
Yeah.
and there's still a few original Federation homes there.
How nice.
Except for our block of units,
Yeah.
which is like really daggy.
Well, you got a good spot there. So how about when you were a kid? So you were brought up in Fiji?
Half Fiji and half in Australia.
Right.
We migrated here, my parents migrated here in 65 and 67. We came out of the 65 to test the water,
Yeah.
and then went back and then waited for our papers, and then we came over as migrants.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why?
in 67. You know, you're probably too young for this, but in the 60s, you had a Prime Minister here called Robert Menzies,
Uh-huh.
and he had this White Australia policy.
Yeah, I've certainly heard about it.
Yeah, so it was just based on merit, and so I mean Australia needed migration. Then you had the Snowy Mountains scheme, so you needed
Yeah.
lots of labour to come over. So basically, they were focusing on England and that Anglo-based demographic to come over here.
Yes.
So a lot of them came out here, but they came out here on the £10 bounty system,
Yeah.
whereas we paid the full fare.
Right. And you were
We
just
were-
looking, your family was just looking for new opportunities.
Well, exactly. Well, my dad, they were looking for skilled labour.
Yeah.
And I mean, the means test was really mean,
Didn't
which was
they
kind of
really
strict.
was strict about the English, even to people that didn't have
Absolutely.
English as a language?
No, well, that was
But
one
you
of the
would.
criteria. I mean, we had to master the English language.
Yeah. Did you? Was that your first language?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I spoke a lot of languages back home.
Yeah.
We just all did. You know, it's a
Yeah,
multicultural
amazing.
society. We spoke Indian, Fijian, a bit of Chinese, a bit of any other island that was there, Ratuman, Samoan, Tongan.
Fantastic.
My mum was Tongan, so
Yeah, right.
I spoke Tongan. She spoke more Tongan to me, and I answered in English, but I
Yeah.
knew what you were saying, you know.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that stuff happens today with, multicultural or European families.
Yeah.
And and Dad was a skilled carpenter,
Right.
so he applied to come over as such, and then he was successful. But back then, it was like I said before, come to Australia for 6 months, check out the lifestyle, and then go back. It was such a big shock for me because I'd never been in a place where there was just all white faces. You know.
Oh, was that the biggest shock there?
Absolutely,
The white
and I was too
faces.
scared to open my mouth because I couldn't speak English properly.
Right. How old were you?
I was about 10.
Oh, so old enough to be aware of that stuff.
Yeah.
How about there must have been other changes though, other differences?
Well, the
Like
culture.
food and
everything.
Yeah,
It's just
culture,
like
especially in those days.
you know,
I mean,
and
I
we had
love
to dress
Australia,
up.
but-
Yeah, I mean,
and to wear
Yeah.
shoes.
and go to town. You have to dress up to go to town.
I know, my mum and dad were big on that too.
You know, mum would dress up with gloves and handbags.
Oh,
It's like we're going to church.
yes.
No, we're just going to the vineyard. Or we're
Oh,
going to
it's the
Coles in the
city.
city.
It's the big city.
We're going to Coles. We're going to David Jones. We're going to Grace Brothers. We're going to visit Hyde Park. We're going to St Mary's Cathedral. Let's catch the bus. Let's
It's
son,
about-
do your tie up properly. Do
Oh,
all
I
this.
love it.
I didn't have a suit, so I wore my school uniform. How it was. And then we went to the Coles cafeteria in the city, which was the
Yes.
thing. And so look, those times, I actually have fond memories of it because
Yeah.
it was kind of like Australia, innocent Australia, trying to find its way. It still wasn't too sure.
Mm.
You know, are we really the colonialists that we're supposed to
British,
be?
trying to be kind of
Yeah,
British.
and so, but it took me a while for me to realise that. I was, when you're 10 or 11, you're not mature enough to sort of
Yeah.
comprehend all that kind of stuff. But yeah.
So when did the
Funny days.
music come from?
Oh, the music was always there because Mum
Yeah.
was a piano player,
Right.
and she
Professionally?
Played, I guess you can say so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, professional music in Fiji in the 50s and 60s? Nah, I don't think so. Just everyone playing.
She did a lot of it though.
She
It's
did,
a musical
yeah.
nation though, isn't it?
Oh, it is, very
Yeah.
much. I mean, when you're born as a child, when you grow up in like your peer groups and all that, you learn how to climb a tree, ride a bike, swim, cross the river, pick mangoes, slingshot bats, fishing, play percussion on
Yeah.
biscuit tins, play the ukulele, play guitar. Everyone had.
Everybody
It's just
did
part
it.
of your growing up period,
Yeah.
you know. And it kind of started like that with my gang, my local gang. But
Yeah.
Mum was always playing piano, and she had rehearsals at the house all the time. And as my brothers grew up, they all had a band each.
Yeah,
So yeah,
right.
it was like yeah. But when you're a child, you're not really paying attention, but you're absorbing it,
Definitely.
subconsciously
Yeah.
absorbing it. And then when you get to your teens, it sort of comes out a bit and go, oh, I remember this. Then you
Yeah.
start picking up. But yeah, at a very early age.
So at what point did you twig that this would be something you wanted to do as a career?
Believe it or not, in my early 20s,
Yeah.
I meant to, there's two things I really loved, music and flying aeroplanes.
Really?
Yeah, so I always wanted to be a pilot, an airline pilot. And I kind of prepared myself for that. I went to high school at Morris Brothers High School, North Sydney.
Oh yeah.
And I got my, as they call it, university entrance subjects. So I got all that, and then I enrolled with the Qantas back in my day.
Yeah.
They had a Qantas cadet scheme, like pilots, and they were training their own pilots. So I signed up and I was successful.
Yeah.
But I deferred for the first year. So when I left school, which was 18, 19, I was playing in bands by then.
Yeah.
And I was loving it, you know, and I thought, oh, I'll just defer 1 year.
Just to do a bit more music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then back then it was great because it was, in my time in the 70s, it was like American social sort of screaming, you know, like what is it, like social injustice, you know. I kind of like followed the black trend, you know,
Yeah.
and I was reading up on their fight for, you know, just for basic freedoms and all that. So I grew an afro, I had a goatee. I was really anti-establishment,
Yeah.
you know, and that kind of like affected my music as well.
Mhm.
So I started gravitating towards then, you know, like Sly and the Family Stone, Jimi Hendrix, you know, Iron Butterfly, all these music that sort of captured me.
Yeah.
Curtis Mayfield,
Yeah.
just people that had messages, you know,
Yeah.
about social injustice and all that. And yeah, so that kind of flying was like flying. Oh yeah, I'll just defer another year. So I deferred 2 years.
You
and
did
then-
too well at the music and it just took
Oh.
you away.
Yeah, well, not really that well, because in the early 70s, there were known bands out there making money out of
Yeah.
music, but I never thought I could make money out of music. My parents thought, okay, you've achieved your education, time to get a job now,
Yeah.
you know. And all my siblings had proper jobs, settled down and all that. And I don't know, you just kind of, you know, you just fall into music.
You
don't-
do sometimes,
You
yeah.
just decide, I'm going to be a musician.
Yeah.
It didn't happen with me.
Yeah.
I just let it.
It was
I just
around you when
rolled.
you went with
Yes,
it.
I just
Yeah.
flowed with it. So my 20s was just spent flowing.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, and anyway, Qantas, the cadet scheme shut down, and my
Oh,
parents were like,
you missed the boat.
you know,
You missed the
well, I
plane.
got the whole bollocking. It was like, you know, we
Did
brought you
you?
here from Fiji for a better life, a better
Yeah,
education.
That's what they
and
would
you
have
want
been
to be
thinking.
a
You could have been a muser in Fiji.
yeah, well, that's it. Although, but because my dad didn't do any music, but because my mum and siblings dabbled in music, they considered it just a fun thing,
Oh,
part
Same
time,
with my parents.
just weekend
Yeah.
family gatherings.
Mhm.
But after that Monday, have you got a job?
Yeah.
No. Always, you know, that kind of vibe. You know.
Mm.
It was only after about, well, not even my 20s, I think my mid-30s, when my mum and dad realised that I was actually bringing home the bacon. But before that, they just couldn't believe that a musician could make a living.
Yes,
amazing?
I can understand
And
that.
it took me a few years living with them, because I was
Yeah.
boarding with them. I mean, I had girlfriends and all that.
Yeah.
That was convenient to come home.
Of course.
With the laundry.
Get the nice meals.
Yeah, I lost the flag, so where to go? Mum said, come home. And then you go home, and then you pay and board. Like I wasn't living free. I
Yeah.
had to show them. I said, "Oh, Dad, here's my thing for the week." And it's like, "Where'd you get this from?" "Oh, really?"
That's
Yeah,
great.
it took them a while.
It's great that they did, come around and
They
realise.
came around. My mum was more sympathetic with me than my dad. My dad still
Of course,
was
she
old
was a
school.
piano player, so
Yeah,
at least,
absolutely.
yeah.
And she thinks why I got so involved in the music was that she played right up until she was ready to give birth. Like, which is like she was sticking at
Definitely,
playing
it's
the
come
piano
through.
like that.
Yeah.
So she reckons, being exposed to that was the reason I carried on.
So is your dad like, it's all your fault?
Yeah.
But now you're a dad and you've got two grown-up kids who are both carving really successful careers in the arts.
Yes,
So
they are.
how was your attitude different to your dad's?
Totally different. When back then, before I was even contemplating marriage or even kids, I always dreamt that when my first child comes along, if it's a male, I'll always name it after a particular bass player that I know, and that I'll give him all the love that I guess I craved from my dad. But my dad was, when I was born, my dad was 52.
Okay.
And Mum was 42.
Right.
Yeah. So I was like one more off the road kind of thing.
You've got a lot of older siblings?
Very old, yeah.
Right,
The
big
gap of like
difference.
10 years, and
Okay.
then beyond that.
You were
see.
the special surprise.
So, well, 2 years before me was my sister. So
Right.
my sister and I kind of grew up together. Like
Yeah.
that, We held each other's hand, and
Aw.
we loved music, and we talked about things and all that. But yeah, so.
So there was a bit of distance.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I never really grew up with my older brothers because they obviously
Already
up
out.
and migrated to Australia and blah blah blah. So I
Yeah.
never grew up with them.
Yeah.
I just grew up with my sister and my local gang.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it is.
And so when did Abe and Amelia start showing interest
Science, oh boy, straight away, as soon as he came out of the mother's womb, that was it,
Really?
yeah.
Drums?
It was like, yes, for I don't know, for some reason I have no drums in my house back then. Had plenty of music,
Yeah.
lots of music.
Not
but-
drums, but that's what he went for.
Yeah, he just gravitated towards drums.
Yeah.
And I remember 3 days, we did Coogie's, Serena's at Coogee on
Yeah.
a Saturday night, that was with Jenny Morris, and Abe was born on the Tuesday, the following Tuesday. Well, his mother came down just fully bursting,
Oh.
and apparently, according to her, she says, as soon as we kicked in, it was like all this, like,
So
get me out of here, get me out!
that's gorgeous.
So, I mean, that's just a little example. I'm sure he would have been absorbing stuff that I was playing at home.
Yeah, definitely.
And so he gravitated towards drums when he was like even close to 1.
Yeah.
Just I gave him chopsticks and all that kind of stuff.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was good. So, but like I said before, I wanted to give my firstborn child more love and stuff
Yes.
I mean, I got it from my parents, but they were like an older generation.
It's a different generation,
It's
and
a
there
different-
wasn't,
yeah.
especially dads when
Yeah,
it's
dads,
it's
they
hands-on
can't.
and-
Dads from that generation
Stern.
could never take their son and say, "I love
I
you,
love
mate."
you.
You know,
That's
no,
so
it's
true.
like to see my dad, like to get an audience with my dad.
Yeah.
Check this out. I had to go through my auntie and then up to my mum
Really?
and then to dad. Well, it's the old bloody, Dad's in the lounge, don't disturb him.
And
he's
it's
got his
dad's
leg in
chair,
his-
right? You can't sit on that
and that's
chair.
it, all that. He's got the big newspaper,
Oh,
with
yeah.
his glasses, and like when they drop the paper, it's like,
My
you in
dad used to be
trouble?
like that too.
So it was all like that. It never,
Yeah.
no bad things ever got to dad. It had to come stop at mum, and mum would go, what happened? What went wrong? Right, the belt, punishment.
The dad did the belt or the mum did it?
No, mum.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
Wow.
like, you can't do that today.
no.
But we're pleading for not pleading for our lives, but pleading, no, whack, whack,
wow.
always around the legs, around the calf muscles. And if the belt wasn't there, the garden's full of hibiscus bushes, so the hibiscus branch is the
That's
favourite
worse,
little weapon.
right, surely?
Oh, you just break one off and you just rip all the leaves out and say, come here.
Ow. Wow, that's why you're so
Yeah.
well behaved.
Maybe, I think, I'm like a total freak out. What was that?
Oh,
No,
wow,
no.
interesting.
So, that kind of discipline I didn't mind. I really didn't mind at all because the islands, the families are so close-knit and everything,
Yeah.
and you dare not It's not like, I want to be an individual in the family. No,
Yeah,
you're not.
No.
Wait till you grow up, then you can do whatever you do.
Yeah.
In the meantime, you stay here and you live under these house rules.
Yeah.
It's pretty much like that in Fiji, you know.
Yeah.
And then you've got the church, who is kind of like a little bit more soothing, and
Yeah.
you know. But yeah,
Wow.
life in the islands, man.
Gosh. And you're going to have one foot back there with your house?
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
Lovely.
Just go there on a casual basis.
Yeah. So how about, what would you say is your proudest moment in music?
Woo!
It's a hard
There's
one.
been a lot of proud moments. I'll tell you what's been the highlight in
Yeah.
my music. And it's not actually playing music or anything. It's a little secret, but I think everybody knows about it.
Yeah.
I shared a joint with Paul and Linda McCartney.
No.
Yeah, at the end of the tour that we did.
So you were
This is 1993.
Supporting
We're
them?
supporting,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what the tour was called, but it was a world tour.
Yeah.
And they came to Australia, and
You were Jenny Morris? Yeah.
Jenny Morris got the support.
Yeah.
It was great because
Oh
so we
my
did every
God,
capital
how
city in
fantastic.
Australia. And we became, you know, close, and we just talked like nothing. There was no special rules backstage like there was with Prince.
Yeah, don't look him in the eye and all
Yeah,
that
all
kind
that
of stuff. Yeah.
And it just got to the stage where we just liaised all the time, you know. And mind you, back in the day when Linda was around and Paul, they really enjoyed their puff, you know.
Yeah.
And it happened after every concert. Although I didn't sort of go and indulge with them,
Yeah.
but yeah, there was always an after show party, and you meet the dignitaries from the city, wherever it's Perth or Adelaide, Melbourne. You've got the town mayor and all the councillors and, you know, a few politicians. They all gather up at this penthouse suite at whatever hotel it was. And the band was invited, so I'd be in there. I'd come in late, you know, and I'd be there with Sunil De Silva.
I know Sunil, yeah.
Yeah, we hung out together. And they'd be waiting. It's like, God, where's Paul and Linda? You know, and the party's waiting. And sure enough, they'd come in later. It's always like half an hour later. And they'd come in, and God, they just looked like couple of stone kids. You're like,
Aw,
amazing. He had
nice.
this tattered old bloody baseball cap, an island shirt, baggy khaki pants, thongs. Linda, pretty much the same thing, hippie chick. And they'd all come in, and they're all sort of like, you know, and it comes straight towards me and Sunil. It's like, oh, how's it going? Everything was good. Saw the show tonight. It was fantastic. You guys are like this. And, you know, we're talking. I'm feeling uncomfortable. I said, you got a whole bunch of dignitaries there waiting. He said, oh, I suppose we better go. Yeah, and we're talking. And then there was one stage where I said to Paul, I said, that aftershave is too strong, man. I don't think it's covering it. It's like, oh.
And
It's
you know
all
how
right,
the
it's all
eyes
right.
are really bright red? To give away.
Yeah, take these glasses.
Oh.
Yeah, and they were great, just down to earth.
Really?
people.
How
Yeah,
great to hear.
down to earth. So,
How
and
exciting.
it was good. I
Then
wish.
you'd be going, he's a beetle?
Yeah.
I mean, I know when I was a kid I thought they were cartoon characters, but you knew better, so you're like, talk to a beetle.
Yeah, so you work with Tim Reddy, eh?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, he'll tell you the story. 'Cause I think he shared the joint as well.
There you
And
go.
another guitar, Mike Kahn.
I work with Mike Kahn all the time as well.
Okay,
And
well-
both of them have been victims of my vlog.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So,
Yeah.
and I do remember. I think it was Mike that didn't smoke
Right.
at all, like not even cigarettes.
Yeah.
But because the joint went from Paul to my lips, I was thinking I'm never going to wash my lips again.
Yeah.
You know. And then it went to Linda, and I think it did because Mike was just standing there. You know. You
Yeah.
know how Mike stands with his hands behind his back.
Yeah, he's such
You know,
a calm presence.
Very calm,
Yeah.
and so Linda just like, oh, okay, and gives it to Mike, and I'm going, hello, here we go, this is going to be a first.
I have a feeling he's told me this story. Were you at him about? I think I remember him telling me something.
And he
about
sort of took it, I thought, this is going to be great, and he just took it like casually, you know, like I smoke.
it in his mouth.
It's handed to, I think it was Tim after, and Tim was just giggling, I could see he was just giggling inside, just chuckling. And I thought, that's all right, mate, that's a special moment, how dare you not accept it, you know.
Yes, exactly. What are you going to do?
But it was great, and Paul just talked about, we didn't talk shop, we
Yeah.
talked about life.
Just stuff.
Yeah, in fact, we talked about Fiji.
Yeah.
Because he's very good at making conversation. He can sort of
Yeah.
make you at ease and
Yeah.
you the topic of conversation. conversation.
Oh,
As much as I was
wonderful.
trying to bounce it back to him.
Yeah, yeah, you
it was
wanted to
like,
probably
no, no,
find
no,
out stuff
yeah,
about
yeah.
him.
But
Nice.
there was a lot of things that I found out about him that I just go, oh, okay. And I had to just make out that I wasn't shocked.
Yeah.
And inside I was shocked, like, wow. You know, how the first time he said he turned vegan.
Right.
And it was because they lived down, they had a property down in Sussex. Yeah, Sussex. I always think it's like Sussex.
Right.
Anyway, they're down there and they had a lot of farm animals just walking, you know, just around the garden and all that. They had, I'm sure they had those alpacas and
Yeah.
sheep and all that. And they had this little favourite lamb and whatever, blah, blah, blah. And Linda always cooked for Paul because Paul would have a different meal to Linda. Linda
Right.
was always a vegetarian or
Yeah.
vegan. And he was having this roast one day, and then Paul just remarked, he said, oh, where's our little, whatever, a name of their favourite
Little
lamb?
Baba.
Yeah, and she said, oh,
In the pot.
you're eating it.
And that turned him off.
That's
food.
right, he said, that was it, never again. And
What a
on
great
that
story.
tour, the catering, it was like the best
Yeah, of
vegetarian
course it
I've ever
was.
had in my life. It was all based on her cookery book, on
Right.
her recipe book, all vegetarian.
Yeah.
And people just ate on site. No one left to go and buy a hamburger or anything. They made veggie
Even if they're not
burgers.
vegetarian, because it was just such good
Well,
vegetarian.
apparently the immediate English crew that travelled with them, Linda and Paul said, look, you guys are welcome to leave and go and buy your own food if you like. You know, sometimes they like chips and gravy or
Of course,
whatever.
yeah.
Nobody left.
Nobody did because it was so
Everyone
good.
was healthy.
Yeah, how
Oh, yeah,
nice.
they felt well. And it's amazing what you can do with a humble potato. you know.
Yeah. Oh, if you're good at it.
It's, wow, amazing food.
Yeah.
Lots of preparation. Excuse me. Lots of preparation. Lots of, especially for vegans and
Yeah,
vegetarians. Lots.
definitely. Gosh, it's hard work.
But,
Yeah.
man, that explained why everyone was healthy and you know,
Yeah.
bright and no one was on a
Everyone
down.
played well and
Yeah.
everyone got on well. It's
Exactly.
so great.
You know, feed the soul.
Yes.
The soul feeds back. You know. So anyway,
You know what?
it's time to go.
It's
We've got
almost
a
time to
show.
go. I know
Yeah.
we've got a show. I can hear the Miss Elm, interestingly enough, is the
Okay.
name of our support act. And of course, we
Okay.
have
Really?
Miss Elm's in our band.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And she's probably going to crack the whip at us if we don't hurry up
Okay.
and go. So can I ask you one question to finish up?
Sure.
And if you had, I'm sure you impart a lot of wisdom as well as actual skills when you teach people, but if you had one thing that you wanted your students to leave with, one thing to keep in their mind when they get out into the big industry, what would that one thing be?
Watch your back.
Oh, really?
Watch your back and choose wisely.
Well,
Yeah, just
yeah.
always remember we're not perfect, so we
Yeah.
all make mistakes, but yeah, watch your back
Yeah.
and choose wisely.
I like it. Well, thank you so much. I could sit here and talk to you forever, but we do have
We
work to
can,
do.
we talk off camera.
Yes,
Just go and have
absolutely.
coffee and relax. Champagne's bubbly.
Yes, lovely. Thank you so much for your time. I so
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it.
You're most welcome.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Truth will show.